So let me get to what I'm trying to say here. Hey, what's going on? This is Jsean, and I wanted to touch on a quick topic that kind of just popped in my mind out of nowhere, and it's about being accountable. Now, I believe whether it be a large or a small part of the world will be better if everybody was held accountable. Not more accountable, just accountable. Just like there's no levels of truth. It's just either a truth or a lie. So let me get to what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to give you a lot of examples or stuff that just randomly comes in my head. One of them is, have you ever worked at maybe like a job or something like that? And if you made a mistake, they're going to hold you accountable for that mistake, right? But if they messed up and they made a technical error and didn't pay you your money on time, which caused you to be late and to miss your bills and have overdraft fees, whatever the case is, they're not held accountable. They just say, sorry, it was a technical error and you're supposed to deal with it, right? That's definitely not fair. It's not equal in any way, right? They don't compensate you. They don't make up for the issues that happen. It's just more of a deal with it type of situation. That's just not a good way to do business, in my opinion. And I know that there's probably reasons why they can't make up for every mistake, but those reasons are just excuses, because no matter what reason you thought it was good enough to make those mistakes at certain times in your job, workplace, or wherever, they would look at it as just excuses. It was either right or wrong thing to do, right? Another example would be, say you have like these all these police officer incidents where you have, obviously there are some good officers and there's some bad. Just like in anything else, you have good employees and bad employees. You can't, just because they pass the initial test to get the job, to be hired, it does not mean that they are a good employee. Over time would tell, and circumstances would tell even more of a person's character. A person's character, in my opinion, always shows when people aren't looking. You know what I mean? So some officers aren't so great, and then if you have a citizen, a normal citizen who does something wrong, whatever it is, or right or wrong, whatever, and they're held accountable for that mistake to the fullest, or maybe they get a little break, whatever, but it's usually not dismissed if it's actually decided that you did something wrong, right? But if the officer does something wrong, as you already have seen, they get away with a lot of things. And in my opinion, I feel like, especially if you're an officer, you have taken certain oaths, right, to protect, to serve, whatever else. I feel like you should be held even more accountable, because you are looked at as almost like a leader. You're looked at as somebody who should easily know better, and somebody who is to set the example. Now, that is just my opinion. Maybe they shouldn't be held more accountable, but from my eyes, that's what it seems like it should be like, right? You should set an example for all the officers to lead in that way. That's just my opinion. But even without the more accountability, like I said, this really shouldn't be something that's more accountable or less accountable. It's just either accountable or not, right? So with that being said, I feel like in many circumstances, they aren't held accountable. They are not treated the same as the person on the other side. Just like in customer service, when you work at a job, and you know what I'm saying, and the first example I gave you, I think that's pretty backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's another example. I've dealt with people who are liars and thieves and cheats and all that, right? When they steal from you, they have 1,000 excuses. But if you steal from them, it's like, I couldn't believe you did that. Well, not saying that I would steal from somebody. I'm saying, let me rewind that. Somebody else stole from them. So they stole from me. I make a big deal about it. You need to be held accountable. And they're like, no, they have 1,001 excuses of why or what happened, right? But as soon as somebody else stole from them, and now they're the victim, they're like, man, I can't believe that person did it. They need to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? And the other person now is like, hey, I didn't do anything. Washing my hands clean of the situation and making a million excuses, just like they said. And that's how it just keeps going in a cycle. Everybody needs to be held accountable. I'm not perfect. If I do something wrong, I should be held accountable. If you make a mistake, whether it be good or bad, you need to deal with the consequences. Be accountable for your circumstance, because guess what? When you do something great, you want to be accountable for that too, right? You want to have those repercussions in that case, it would be a reward, right? That would be the consequence, a great reward for doing a great job, hopefully, in most circumstances, right? The same way when you do good, you want that good reward back. When you do bad, you are bound to get that bad. I'm just gonna call it reward, but bad energy back, or bad response, bad reaction, whatever it is, the bad answer back to you. It works both ways. You can't have it when it's convenient. You can't pick and choose when it's convenient for you when to apply rules. That's what I feel like everybody needs to be held accountable, whether it be a business, whether it be a person, a friend, a person you're in a relationship with, anything. Everybody needs to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. Stop making excuses for people that you know, especially people that you don't know. If everybody were to be held accountable, I think that the world would, even in a small way, be a better place. You know what I mean? I think people would start realizing that their actions have a consequence, good or bad, that there's always a reaction to every action that you do in this world. You know what I mean? Good or bad. This is something I would tell a little kid. You know what I mean? So this is something that adults need to hear. Teenagers, young adults need to hear. Even some grown-ups need to hear. You know what I mean? So I believe that being held accountable is super, super, super important. So with that being said, please hit like, comment, share, and subscribe. And please hit that notification icon for updates on future videos. And make sure you do everything at top level, your top level. And I'll talk to you next time. Peace. Boom.